Sarah, honey, your father's on the phone for you. I'm putting makeup on right now, so can you put the phone on speaker? Okay. I did as my daughter Sarah told me to and put the phone on speaker and pressed the call button.
Hey Sarah, were you able to sleep well?
Yeah, I was.
That's good then. We're about to start a new life, so until then, you're just going to have to hold out for a little while longer.
What in the world is my husband Thomas and Sarah talking about? My husband's voice was very gentle, and I got the sense that he trusts and loves Sarah. I had no idea that my husband has been able to build that much good relationship with Sarah. I looked at Sarah while I thought that to myself. Then, Sarah put her index finger to her mouth and instructed me to be silent. I did as I was told and kept my mouth shut, and my husband started to say something really unexpected. My name is Kate, and I am a 40-year-old housewife. I met my husband Thomas at a blind date. Thomas and I were the same age and hit it off right away, and since then we began to go out on dates as a couple. We got along pretty well and we ended up getting married. We had a child right after we got married, and our daughter Sarah is now 15 years old. My husband and I were both pretty opinionated, so we often clashed with each other. But I think we had a happy marriage and we were all happy as a family in our own way. And now we have been married for 15 years. I thought that I would continue to be with my husband for the rest of my life and that we would watch our daughter grow up together. For your next wedding anniversary, are you guys going anywhere? One day, Sarah began to ask me that question. I'm not really sure and nothing's really decided yet, but I would at least like to have a nice dinner with your father. Wow, that'd be very nice. You and Dad is going to dine at a fancy restaurant with a pretty night view, right? Well, I don't know if it's going to be like that, like when he proposed to me, but I'd love to go to a nice little restaurant. Aw, how nice! I'll be home alone, so you two should have fun. Thanks. As I talked with my daughter about all this, I was anticipating what my husband would do for our anniversary. But no matter how close our anniversary date was getting, my husband never mentioned anything about our wedding anniversary. Could it be that Thomas is planning to surprise me with something? It's our 15th anniversary this year, and maybe he has something really special planned for us. If so, I won't bring up the subject of our wedding anniversary to him. I waited for my husband's action as I went about my usual routine. But the day before our anniversary, Thomas still hasn't said anything related to the anniversary, and on the morning of the day of our anniversary, he didn't talk about our anniversary at all. As usual, he looked really sleepy while eating his breakfast.
Well, I'm off.
Oh, hey, what are you doing today? I asked Thomas, unable to resist. It was because I was indeed anxious that nothing had been said so far by Thomas. But my husband looked at me curiously.
What do you mean, what am I going to do today?
Oh no, I was thinking something like dinner or... I wanted my husband to notice, so I casually mentioned dinner. Then Thomas made a face as if he remembered. Oh, thank goodness, he remembered that it was our wedding anniversary. But then, Thomas then said something that surprised me.
Oh, well, it's Friday, so I'm going out for a drink with my colleagues. Oh, crap, I'm running late. Well, I'm gonna go now.
Have a good day. I was just stunned. My husband did not remember what day it was today. Even my daughter, who was eating breakfast, was shocked at what had happened. Dad forgot about the wedding anniversary. He's terrible. My daughter got really annoyed at the situation, so I was able to calm down a little. Well, he must have been so busy with work that he forgot. It was indeed sad that Thomas forgot that it was our 15th wedding anniversary, but he still works hard every day, and I should find something to be grateful for. That day, I ended up going out for dinner with my daughter to celebrate with her. Then, the next day, my husband woke up in the early afternoon after coming home from drinking late last night. I was indeed annoyed to see my husband, who didn't even realize what he was getting himself into, but I decided to go through with it. Then, my daughter, who was in the living room, stood in front of my husband, who was lying down on the sofa.
What's the matter, Sarah?
My husband looked curiously at his daughter, who suddenly stood in front of him. Sarah looked angry and began to say this. You forgot that yesterday was my mom and your wedding anniversary, didn't you?
Wedding anniversary?
To what Sarah said, Thomas had finally remembered.
Oh, was that yesterday?
His reaction seemed to make Sarah even angrier. What the heck, Dad? It was a special day to celebrate the 15th anniversary of you and Mom's wedding.
Oh, has it been 15 years already?
My husband's very cold attitude made me even angrier. How could you be so calm about it? Normally, shouldn't you feel more sorry about that? When I said that, my husband instantly made a disgusted face and became upset.
Huh? Why am I the one being told that from you? I'm tired from working every day. How am I supposed to remember every single anniversary and whatnot? If you wanted me to celebrate so badly, why didn't you tell me earlier?
I was just fed up at this situation by this point. My daughter seemed to be even more annoyed by my husband's comment and argued back at him. Normally, you should be the one to also remember better and prepare a surprise or something, right? You know nothing about how women think.
Oh my God, shut up. What is up with you two? That's enough. I'm just gonna go to my parents today.
Saying that, my husband angrily packed his bags and went back to his parents' house. What is up with Dad? Whenever something happens that I don't agree with him about, he immediately goes to Grandma's place. My daughter seemed to be unable to stop her anger even after my husband left, and she was complaining. I was indeed disappointed by my husband's attitude this time. We did have fights in the past, but honestly speaking, Thomas had never been so unreasonable and annoying like this before. Since then, my husband's attitude at home has become much colder. He doesn't even join in conversations with my daughter, and he often comes home late nowadays. He went back to his parents' house every weekend, and it has become a habit for him to stay over. My husband's attitude is continuing to be like that, and I am gradually growing tired of it. But about 3 months later, for some reason, my daughter started to get along with my husband.
Sarah, do you want to go to Grandma's house with me again today?
Yes, I want to.
Okay then, let's get ready.
Sarah began going with my husband to my parents-in-law's house on weekends and began to act like she missed them more than me. My mother-in-law, Lily, had always bullied me once I became Thomas's wife, so at one point, I stopped showing up at Lily's house at all. My daughter didn't really like Lily either, and she was extremely angry with my husband on what happened with the wedding anniversary, so I wondered what was going on with Sarah. Normally, I would be happy to see my husband and daughter getting along, but I felt as if my husband had taken my daughter away from me, and I felt somewhat lonely. My husband and I had almost stopped talking to each other at this point, so the comfort level at home for me depended on my daughter and which side she was on. When my husband is at work, my daughter interacts with me normally, but when he is home, she talks to him all the time. It's not that she treats me badly, so I don't mind, but I can't help but envy my husband. But then, something surprising happened, and that happened one day on a holiday. My husband stayed at his parents' house as usual, and my daughter, unusually, was at home with me. In the midst of all this, my daughter's phone on the table rang. I looked at the screen and saw that it was from my husband. "Sarah, honey, your father's on the phone for you." "I'm putting makeup on right now, so can you put the phone on speaker?" Okay. I did as my daughter Sarah told me to and put the phone on speaker and pressed the call button. When I pressed the call button, I heard my husband's voice over the phone.
Hey, Sarah. Were you able to sleep well?
Yeah, I was.
That's good then. We're about to start a new life, so until then, you're just going to have to hold out for a little while longer.
What in the world is my husband Thomas and Sarah talking about? My husband's voice was very gentle, and I got the sense that he trusts and loves Sarah. I had no idea that my husband had been able to build that much good relationship with Sarah. I looked at Sarah while I thought that to myself. Then, Sarah put her index finger to her mouth and instructed me to be silent. I did as I was told and kept my mouth shut, and my husband started to say something really unexpected.
Because soon that woman is going to get caught for abuse.
Excuse me? Abuse? What the hell is Thomas talking about? It also sounded like Lily was talking over the phone to Sarah with a smug smile on her face. Well, it seems like you're getting to know who you're better off with, Sarah. You better cut off all ties with that useless woman. Then, my husband continued to say this.
I'm going to make up a story about Kate being abusive, and instead of compensation, I'm going to take that house. And then I'll invite Wendy home, and the four of us can finally live happily ever after. I'm really looking forward to that now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. My daughter said that and hung up the phone. I was absolutely mortified and froze on the spot. Sarah, what is this all about? What are you all planning against me? I was really frightened at what I heard and looked at Sarah. But my daughter looked at me right into my eyes in a serious way. Mom, please don't worry. I have been on your side from the beginning. Huh? Sarah then told me about her recent experiences. She said that a few months ago, when she was hanging around in the city with her friends, she saw Thomas and Lily walking around the city with a woman she's never seen before. She then thought something was fishy, but she knew that if she asked Thomas directly about it, he would never talk to her about the truth. So, she pretended to be sweet to Thomas as a good daughter, and little by little, she played the role of a daughter who loved her father in order to get to know the truth. Thomas was wary at first, but his own daughter suddenly began to be very sweet to him, and he quickly forgave her. Then, they started going to Lily's house together, and Sarah finally found out the truth. And the truth was that Thomas and Lily was planning to frame me as the bad guy, kick me out of the house, and then get remarried to Thomas's mistress, and the three of them would move in together. Lily had been living alone since my father-in-law passed away, but she hated me a lot, so it seems like she wanted to get rid of me and live with her own son. My husband had been having an affair for some time, and he and his mistress, together with Lily, had made a plan to kick me out. They tried to get rid of my daughter at first too, but since Sarah has recently been faithful to my husband and Lily, they decided to take her in and raise her. But she was my daughter, and she had gathered a lot of evidence to expose Thomas and Lily's wrongdoings and show me the evidence, including photographs of Thomas's affair and audio recordings of Thomas and Lily talking about their plans. I immediately called the police and reported Thomas and Lily for trying to frame me. I then hired a lawyer and prepared to fight my husband. After I called the police on them, my husband seemed to come back to the house right away. My phone rang a lot, which is probably a proof of Thomas being desperate, trying to talk things out with me.
Hey, where the hell are you? Why is the police at my parents' house?
How could I possibly tell you where I am, when you and your terrible mother had a terrible, horrible plan against me? I hate to break it to you, but Sarah told me everything, you know.
Oh, that girl. She betrayed me.
Don't blame Sarah or hate her. You and your terrible mother will be punished accordingly. First, I reported you for trying to frame me, and now I'm going to demand a divorce because of your stupid affair, and I will claim for alimony and child support.
Oh, no. You've got to be kidding me.
You're the one who did this to yourself, you know. I will never, ever forgive you. And this house that you wanted, it's what I inherited from my parents. And it's going to sell for a lot of money, so I'm going to sell it.
Huh? What the hell? Why? If I can't have that house, then what's the point of me planning all this?
Well, it would never be yours in the first place. If it were me, the only thing I'd do would be die and have Sarah inherit it. But I don't want you to take it from me, so I'll sell it. Anyways, I don't trust you anymore. I'll discuss this with my lawyer and claim what I said I would do.
Hey! Wait a minute.
My husband was still saying something, but I ignored him and hung up. Then, through my lawyer, I demanded divorce, alimony, and child support from him. Then both Thomas and his mistress had paid me the alimony. As for the child support, Thomas would pay, but he would pay it in installments. Since then, Thomas was in a huge debt and could not afford the house, so he was dumped by his mistress in the end. Moreover, the mistress was one of his colleagues at the company he worked for, and the mistress reported to the company that she was treated badly just to get back at Thomas. And he became known as the sexual harasser who would also give power harassments, and was then demoted and transferred to a very local branch with very low pay. Lily also seems to be avoided by her neighbors because all the neighbors found out about this incident, and now she's known as a terrible woman who tolerated her son to have an affair and tried to get her grandchild to go along with a horrible plan of framing me to be abusive when they were the ones being abusive. As for me, I purchased a new house and started living with my daughter. I can only thank my daughter for protecting me and being on my side this whole time. I will continue to live happily with my daughter while supporting each other as a team. Thomas and Lily are truly horrible people, but Sarah was truly intelligent for doing so. I hope that Kate would live a happy life together with Sarah from now on. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.